Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, everyone. And in Chinese, we say, Wan Shang Hao. Wan Shang Hao, everyone. Ni hao ma. Welcome to this edition of the Speak the Truth in Love Ministry with Miss Veronica Mirembe Benediction. Mbaniriza mu edition eno eya yogera amazima mu kwagala according to Abefeso essula ey'okuna olunyiriro 15. Mu video eno this evening I want to give my message a title, Choose to Smile at the Chaos. Nti salawo okusekerera embeera gy'oyitamu, salawo okusekerera ebizibu. You know, one, I want to encourage or edify someone this evening. You know, just like I shared yesterday, we all have secret pain and battles we are going through. But at times you have to reach a point where you choose to smile at the chaos, you know, where you choose to smile in the tears. You know, when you read the Bible in Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 17 to 18, the writer says, even if the fig tree does not bud, even if there are no cattle in the pen, yet I'll rejoice in the God of my salvation. He was trying to show us, even if things worked out or not, he chooses to rejoice in the Lord of his salvation. You know, we have to get to a point in life where we have that mindset where we tell God, even if things worked out or not, I will rejoice in the Lord. What David to be working out, what to be working out, you know, we have to know we are all going through stress. We are all going through situations that want us to back. Embeera nyingi ezitwetoolodde ezitwagala okuvunnama, eziyagala okutumalamu amaanyi, ezagala okutumalamu essuubi. Naye that is why the writer says in Habakkuk, even if the fig tree does not bud, even if there are no cattle in the pen, there are no cattle, you know, I'll rejoice in the God of my salvation. We have to reach that point where we choose to rejoice in the God of our salvation amidst what is ongoing in our lives. You know, when you read the Bible in Daniel chapter 3 verse 18, those three Hebrew men say they will not back to that idol of Nebuchadnezzar. Tuina mu bulamu buno tuina making a choice ntogenda kuvunnamira mbeera where you speak to yourself, even if something worked out or not, you choose peace, you choose happiness, you choose joy, because the joy of the Lord is your strength. You know, the Bible says in Nehemiah chapter 8 verse 10, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Nti essanyu lya Mukama ge maanyi gange. Because there is a lot that is trying to keep us slow, a lot that is trying to keep us stressed, but there are certain biblical truths that can take us or see us through these seasons. You know, the Bible says in 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7 that cast all your cares to the Lord because he cares for you. You know, Bible egamba like ebizibu byonna biwe Katonda kubanga akufaako. You know, it says in Psalms 55 verse 22 that cast all your cares to the Lord. He can never allow the righteous be forsaken. He can never allow the righteous be moved. You know, we have to get to a point where we cast our burdens, where we cast our cares to God, you know, because there are things I have gotten to learn out of life experience. At times our faith does not take away problems. Okukkiriza kwaffe tekujjaawo bizibu. But our faith puts the problems, or it puts the reality under God's control. Omuntu alina okukkiriza, omuntu alina Katonda, taggwaamu maanyi, taggwaamu ssuubi ng'atamuyina. Omuntu alina Katonda tagenda genda kwesula mu motoka, tagenda genda kweyokya, tagenda genda kwetta, because you have known, you know, the joy of the Lord is your strength. You know, it is why I'm encouraging someone this evening. At times you have to choose to smile at the chaos. You have to choose to smile at the negativity around you. You know, it is what I'm trying to show people in these videos. If happiness is a choice, you know, depression is equally a choice. Tewali agenda kugamba kuddamu maanyi kubeera musanyufu nga gweyagala kwekubagiza. You know, and the reason I'm trying to edify someone this evening, you know, we all have secret battles, we all have secret pain, we all have something we are going through. People are so stressed. you know. And it is why I'm encouraging people. At times, our mindset and attitude through what we are going through is what makes the difference. You know, abantu buli omu alina kyayitamu naye engeri gye tukwatamu ebizibu bino yereetawo enjawulo. And the reason I'm encouraging someone this evening, you know, the Bible says in Jeremiah 32:27, behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is there anything so hard for me? Bible egamba mu Yeremiya 32:27 nti nze Katonda w'abo abalina omubiri waliwo ekinnema. When you read the Bible, I think it is Genesis 18:14. God told Abraham, Mukama yagamba Sarah, waliwo ekinnema, olubereberye 18:14. Because at times we are looking at things like they are so much, but we do not know as long as we have God. The Bible says in Matthew 19:26, with God all things are possible. Nti ewali Katonda byonna biyinzika. Tulekerawo okuggwaamu amaanyi n'essuubi olw'embeera etwetoolodde. There is something I tell people, never allow the negativity around you steal your inner peace. Never allow the negativity around you steal your happiness. You know, because at times we have a right to be happy or we have a right to keep low. There is a lot that is keeping people low. There is a lot that is keeping people depressed. Abantu batandise eddagala lya depression, abantu bamira eddagala lya stress, naye mulimu ebintu byendabula abantu out of experience. Tewali kakerenda kagenda kujjako depression, kagenda kujja mu kwekubagiza, kagenda kujjako stress, nga toyize kwefuga, nga toyize kwezzaamu maanyi. You know, there are things I show people out of life experience. Veronica having battled depression for 5 years. It did not matter how many times I swallowed antidepressants, you know, they just brought weight. Ogenda okulaba batandika okugamba bikwocha kibumba. Nga tewali kakerenda kagenda kujja mu kwekubagiza nga tosazeewo nti olina okuba omusanyufu. And the reason I tell people who go through depression, who are battling stress, there are certain wounds of the soul that pharmaceutical medicines cannot handle. Kiringa ogamba nti omuntu alina HIV n'amira ARV, white blood cell yendwadde, naye mulimu ebiwundu eby'omwoyo, ebiwundu eby'omutima, nga ne woonoomira eddagala tebigenda kuvaawo. Nga true therapy comes first of all, kwogera la muntu ono, ate naawe ne wezzaamu amaanyi. Because we have to know we are living in a life, or we are living in a season where there is a lot that is keeping people low, a lot that is keeping people stressed, you know. And at times we have allowed the cares of the world steal our inner peace because we have not known certain truth. You know, it is why, Veronica, there are certain things I go through life. It is because I have known certain truth. You know, I have known certain truth that have set me free. You know, there are things we have to know. Nothing in this world satisfies. No amount of money can be enough. Chobola boli wagamba wenabeera ne ssente wengenda okubeera omusanyufu, wenaazaala abaana wengenda okubeera omusanyufu, wenaafumbirwa, that is a lie. You know, we all have an emptiness in us only God can feel, that the cares of the world can never feel. And the reason I'm trying to show someone, there are certain things that are godly and the cares of the world cannot feel. It is why I look at single ladies out there who think, when I get married, when I get a child, you will be so wounded. Because there is no happiness in marriage, there is no happiness in a child when you have not learned to be the source of your own happiness. You know? And the reason I'm trying to encourage someone this evening, at times you can choose to smile at the chaos, you can choose to laugh at the chaos. Because God has given us the power of choice. Everything in this life, in this world, is about choice. There is something I share out of life experience. You know, peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is not the absence of chaos. You know, but peace is going through problems unshaken. You know, it is having the right attitude as you go through problems, that you do not allow them break you, but you can allow them make you. You know, you do not allow them to you don't allow them to put you down, but you can allow them take you to another level. You know, because there are things we take for granted. At times we are waiting on God for different things. You know, Patience is not about waiting, but it is waiting with a positive attitude. You know, it is waiting with a very joyful spirit. And the reason I'm telling someone, at times you have to reach a point where you concentrate on God's goodness than concentrating on the negativity around you. So many people are so stressed because we are concentrating on what is missing. Tulaba bitaliiwo, tulaba bitanaba kutuukirirwa. Ky'obalaba akayimba ako kagamba wadde nga waliwo bye sinnalaba naye Mukama by'onkoledde weebale. You know, there is a lot God has done than concentrating or dwelling on what is not working out. You know, and it's something I want to encourage someone this evening. Mukama wadde nga waliwo by'atannakola naye byakozeeko gyebiri bingi nnyo. And the reason I teach people out there, learn the power of gratitude. Thank God for the problems you do not have. Because even what you may be going through, someone is going through something worse. But when you learn the art of gratitude, when you learn the art of being grateful, Veronica, that is my greatest stress factor. You know, it is the source of something that fights stress every day. You know, because people get to forget. We all have something we are going through. Tewali ali awo nti buli kimu kituukiridde. Ffenna mu nsi buli omu alina kyayitamu. Ne ka bebi awaka kayinza okuba mami wakitali waka. But at times our mindset and attitude is what sees us through the storms of life unshaken because we have learned certain truth. You know, it is what I'm trying to show people. God has never promised us a life without pain and problems. It is okay. Like the Bible says in John 16:33, in this world you'll have suffering, you'll have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Mukama yamanya nti munsi muno muliberamu ebizibu, muliberamu okubonaabona, naye natugamba tunywere awangudde ensi. You know? And the reason I want to give hope to someone this evening, you know, choose to smile at the chaos, choose to laugh at that, you know, because at times, people hardly know, whenever you keep low, whenever you keep depressed, you are only giving forces of darkness power to keep you low, to keep you wounded, because you have not known certain truth. You know, there is certain truth we shall know that will set us free. You know, the Bible says, I think it is in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18. It says, give thanks in all circumstances. Bible yetugamba mu Thessalonike ekisooka 5:18 nti twebaze Mukama mu buli mbeera. It does not tell us to thank God for the circumstances, but it tells us to thank God in all circumstances. Omuntu oyinza okufiirwa togenda kwebaza Mukama nti ofiiriddwa naye olina ky'osobola okumwebaliza mu mbeera eyo. There are things I speak out of life experience. Veronica, I'm 38 years. My parents are in their 70s. But even if God took them, I would not be happy that they have died, but I'll be happy nebazadde bange mbalabyeko paka myaka 7. It is something to be grateful for in that situation that may look tragic. You know? I could be grateful bazadde bange ne babage buli omu alina olugendo lwante alina okuva mu nsi naye muzadde agenze anjigiriza okukola tandise ku nsi nti ngenda kusabiriza ngenda kubonaabona. So it is something I can thank God for, and the reason I'm trying to show someone, you know, let us give thanks in all circumstances, you know, because even in the worst pain there is something to be grateful for. Even in the worst tears there is something to be grateful for. And the reason, as I'm finishing this video, let me speak to someone. You know, we have to know life is full of choices. You know, if happiness is a choice, depression is equally a choice. Tewali agenda kujja mu kwekubagiza, oyagala kwekubagiza. No, there are things Veronica I share out of life experience. Woba oyagala kwetta, genda wette tujja kuziika obulamu butambule tugende. No one even has your time. And these things people call rude are what helped me, you know, because I remember the years I battled depression. I went and saw the psychologist. Omukyala yangambye ekintu, Veronica, tuleete omusota gukuluma ofe anti okiba otugamba nti oyagala kufa. And I got to understand there are certain things, ebintu ebyeta depression, oluusi mulimu omuntu ojja okuŋŋamba depression is a choice ze yagambye okufiirwa omuntu wange tewali alonda muntu kufiirwa muntu naye buli omu afiirwa agenda mu depression. How come abantu bafiirwa ne badda engulu? And the reason I'm telling someone, no, let me give an example. Abantu bayinza okubeera mu family oba maama n'afa, abaana bali mukaaga nolaba oli teyadda ngulu bali bo ne baterera ne baguma. Waki bali baguma ate ono n'atandika eddagala ya depression? Because the same situation has happened in the home, but the mindset and attitude of how people have handled is what has made the difference. You know, mulimu ebintu nga tubiyinako obuyinza naye nga ffe abeyinako obuyinza. We have no control over stress naye nga ffe abeyinako control. Ba stress tagenda kuggwaawo kati nga gwalina okwefuga noyogera n'ebirowoozo bino omanyi kino mba kisobola. And how do you do this? It is handling one thing at a time. There are things you have no control over, you have no control of, but you only have control over yourself. Kubanga ebizibu tebigenda kuggwaayo, okubonaabona tekugenda kuggwaayo. We live in a fallen world. There are certain things that are part of life, and the reason learning emotional resilience is something very important. You know, learning that there are certain things we have no control of, but we only have control over ourselves. Mulimu ebintu nga tolina wogenda bifuga naye nga gwalina okwefuga. Togenda kuggyawo stress, togenda kuggyawo bizibu naye nga gwalina okwefuga. Gwalina okumanya kino ekirowoozo kankite, I want to dwell on it, you know. And the reason, as I'm ending this video, let me tell someone, you can choose to smile at the chaos, or you can choose the chaos to put you down, you know. Because at the end of the day, life is full of choices. If happiness is a choice, you know, depression is equally a choice. And as I'm finishing this video, let me just teach us something simple. How to say thank you in the different international languages. In English, we say thank you very much. In French, we say merci beaucoup. In Chinese, we say shesheni. In German, we say danke schön. In Arabic, we say shukran jazila. And in Swahili, the East African language, we say asante sana. Asante sana, everyone, and kwaheri. Bye-bye.